Okay, so we are in the empty scene of render, as you can see, and we wanna create the pumpkin. So first thing first, let's actually add the reference over here so that you can always see why I am doing something. And this is the pure ref file, by the way, just in case if you don't know pure ref. I'll tell you the name like pure ref. You can see it. So this is the spelling. Yeah, you can just look at the reference while I'm doing it as well. So first thing first, obviously, we're gonna use the cube because this is cube. So let's start with the cube now. I know it was weird. I just wanted to say something weird. So we are gonna be remeshing it, and the reason is we want challenges. It would be super easy to do this shape with the sphere. Actually, the reason I'm doing it is because I kind of wanted to show you. You can use the scrap to do this, and yeah, you can like use the smooth brush as well to basically convert it into a sphere like this. And this is also something that is like super unnecessary, but I'm still doing it. And yeah, we are just going to convert it into a sphere, and let's just shape it now. So you can see the shape. It is not circular, it is not spherical, it is kind of like egg like. So we're gonna try to achieve the same. In this case, I am gonna be putting the symmetry on the y-axis as well. So let's do that. And you can see the shape. Let me just draw it for you so that it would be easier for you to see. So this is the shape that we wanna create. I really have not done the good job with drawing it, but you get the idea, right? So yeah, the first thing obviously is to put it into the shape, and that's what I'm doing. As you can see, the reason that I've chosen the cube is because I kind of wanted challenges. But one thing that you need to do is you need to make the polygons a bit bigger when you are working with the bigger shape, and because of that, it is gonna be easier for you to change the bigger shapes like I just did. Now we wanna make sure that we get something similar. So first thing first, let's do this because this is something that a pumpkin has, and now we just wanna do this. Make sure that you are getting similar from each side. So we are getting this. You know, it needs to be rounder, right? So in order to make it round, you need to change it from almost every angle like this. And now we just gonna start adding the clay strip. As you can see, because we are in the starting phase, I'm not really smoothing out the clay strip brush, but I am just using it as its default state. So right now it kind of looks like a strawberry, which we don't want, which means that we need to remove some of the volumes from this particular area to make it a bit more spherical. You can actually start with the sphere. Actually, you should start with the sphere, but I wanted to show you some of the problem solvings. Okay, now this particular area is a bit sharper, I guess. We need to make sure that it is more roundy, so I am just going to push it in a little bit. So, okay, so from the side you can see we definitely have to do more work. So I'm just going to push it back and push it in. So we are getting this. Now, let's just smooth out like this and see how it is looking from each side. Okay, I think it is looking okay. Now we can start pulling it down a little bit to make this shape. So yes, you need to make sure that you look your sculpt from each side, because you can see that from this particular area it is kind of sharper, so we need to push it in. By the way, in order to push in, you can also use the smooth brush. So smooth brush is going to just smooth things out. And now we have a shape, and we've also solved some problems. I really hope that helped you, by the way, how we have been able to solve the problems. So first thing first, before adding the eyes or anything, before going into the details, we need to add bigger forms. So in order to do that, we need more details, and for more details, we need to lower down the remesh. So let's just do this, and now we can smooth it out. So first thing first, we are gonna be changing the radial symmetry And let's just try 10 on the z-axis, so that if I can sculpt on the one, it is just gonna sculpt like this, and this is gonna be pretty nice. So let's just create a stroke like this so that we can get something like this. Now you can like remove the x-axis. Okay, we are getting like this. We can increase the radial here. We can try the 20 and just do a stroke like this. Cool. Yes, this is looking nice, right? I think it is looking nice. But it is kind of longer. I think we can just push it back a little bit, just a little bit. I think this is better. Now we need to add some randomness, and in order to do that, I am gonna be putting it back to the default, and the XY mirroring is gonna be on because I'm not that dumb. I'm not gonna do all of these lines. So first thing first, you can see that some of these lines are bigger and some of these lines are smaller. Okay, so we need to achieve the same thing, and in order to do that, we need to remove the symmetry. This is kind of important. And now let's just make some of these bigger and some of these smaller. So if I want to make this one bigger, I can just select the clay strip and I can just do that. So I can fill up this area first. This is just me problem solving right now. I want to achieve the same thing, so I can fill up this area. And now I can just select the draw brush and do this. So as you can see what we have done, we have created a bigger one and a smaller one, and this is what we wanted to do, right? So we have achieved the same thing, and now the next step is to do the same with basically everything else. And I have smoothed it out, and the reason is it was kind of jaggedy, so I am going to be doing the same. Again, you can use the crease as well. Remember, I am going to be using it because I want to show you multiple ways of doing the same thing. So you can use the crease, but the problem is we don't have enough polygons to create this sharper part. So I am going to be increasing the polygons now. And let's just do that. So this could potentially be a time lapse. I don't know. You basically just have to create this random sizes. So I am just going to be filling these in, and now I'm just going to use the draw sharp. For example, I can use one over here, and I can use one over here, and we have created this randomness. So you can see we have one bigger one over here and the smaller one in this particular area, and then a smaller one in this area, and then a bigger one. So this is something what we wanted to achieve, and we are achieving the same thing. Now we can just use the clay script to do this. And again, I'm just doing the same thing. I'm just varying the size of these lines that we have. I'm not commentating right now because this is something repetitive, and this is one of those areas there I basically suck. I suck at doing the repetitive commentary. Okay, so in order to save some time, I know this is gonna be my front, so I'm not really gonna go back and do all of these. I am just gonna make sure that whatever is visible in the camera is the only part that I work on. So I'm not really gonna do each and every single one of these, but you can see that we have created these variations. And now we need to do these breakups in between. So in order to do that, it is pretty simple. We can actually just start adding the volumes like this. And you can see that we have this line in between that is going like this. And you can smooth it out and then re-edit. So we have something similar going on, and you can also just push it till the end. And also the line is not straight. I'm not like creating it as a straight line. So you can also do the same. Make sure that you have as much variation as you possibly can. Also decrease the strength. Decreasing the strength also gets you some randomness. Okay, now we can start adding some of the horizontal ones. So we can start adding some of these lines like this. And we are going to go into the surface details. Don't you worry. We are only working on the bigger details right now. We are going to like get to these small little details that we can see. So that's gonna be pretty fun, and we are definitely gonna be exploring these. Okay, now one thing that I wanna do is I wanna put it into the side, and the reason is because they were going too much on the left. I didn't really like that, so I am just putting it on the side. Now you can see that there is this particular variation, so I need to add that as well. And let's just use the draw sharp brush to draw it, so it is in this particular area. Cool. So this is where this particular volume is gonna be, and now I'm just gonna be using the clay strip to add that volume. And now you're gonna see why I kinda love the clay strip a bit more. If I were to smooth it out, you are gonna see the amount of variation we are gonna get. So yeah, you can see that there is a surface breakup. I really hope you can see it, by the way. Let me just go over here and increase the tip roundness to maximum, and remove the pen pressure from the radius. Okay, so now we are actually getting all those surface imperfection that we are that we wanted basically, and we are just gonna do the same thing on these sides as well. I am just gonna start adding these randomly. Don't you worry, we are gonna be working on the surface separately as well. This is just me adding the bigger shapes, and now you can see how nicely it is looking. Like look at this and then look at on the right side. So there is a big difference, and that's why I've told you the pumpkin is actually pretty much the perfect example, or not the perfect example, but a perfect thing to start practicing for the sculpt. Like you can see these creases going on. You can use the inflate, by the way. So if you were to use the inflate, you can just make these a bit sharper, but I'm not gonna do that right now because I need to make them a little bit deeper in order to do that. So I'm just gonna be using the draw sharp instead, and I'm just gonna do this. And yeah, you can see that this is looking pretty nice. We have this nice looking organic surface going on, which is what we wanted. So that is something what we have achieved, and it is already looking pretty nice, even though we have not added these small little details, which we are going to be adding, by the way. Don't you worry about it. But first thing first, let's actually do the same thing that we have done in these areas on all of these, so that we basically can get to the same level of details in each and every single one of these areas. Okay, so I was kind of quiet because I've did that, and that was kind of repetitive. But in this particular area, you can see that there is this continuation going on, and I kind of want to achieve the same thing. So let's just do that. I am doing it on the other side, even though it is going like this, I am doing it like this, but it is basically the same thing, right? So yes, that is something similar. And that's why the references are important. If you were to sculpt a pumpkin without the reference, you are never going to see something like this. And you won't be able to add it because that is some sort of information that human minds cannot really store unless you literally just look at a pumpkin and then store that particular thing in the mind. That's why the references are important. And I am going to be adding some volumes in this particular area as well, so that there would be a separation between this and this. You can see there is this breakup and it is looking more natural. We need to make sure that everything looks natural and not weird. Okay, we can actually join these two together. So yes, we can do this, and now this part is separate and this part is separate. So this is pretty nice. Now you know why the clay strip brush is kind of my favorite. It actually gives you this. If you were to start doing your strokes randomly, by the way, you can also do something like this, but this is not gonna be random. So make sure that you are doing your strokes, and yeah, you basically just do it in a way that looks natural. By the way, I am keep on picking up the pens in between, so I'm not. This is not a continuous stroke like this. Even though you can achieve the same thing with the continuous, I am doing a stroke and then putting. I am doing a stroke like this, and then again the second stroke, then the third stroke, then the fourth stroke. So that's what I'm doing. I'm not. This is not a continuous stroke, by the way. I really hope that made sense, and that's basically what I'm doing right now. So I'm continuously just doing multiple strokes. These are not single strokes. I can actually create a wrinkle-like form in this particular area. This is gonna help to break up this particular wrinkle actually, and it's just gonna look much more natural this way. As you can see, it's kind of like a connection point between both of these parts. It's not a wrinkle. I've just said it's. I just said it as a wrinkle, but it obviously is not a wrinkle. It is just. I don't even know what you even call it. Like. Let's just call it a wrinkle, right? Let's just call it a wrinkle. Like, why not? I've already said it, so there's no shame in saying it again, I guess. But yes, you can see that I am basically broken up both of these, and now it is looking much more natural. I'm gonna look at it from the front view because obviously, again, I wanna save time, and because I wanna save time, I'm not really gonna be sculpting all of the parts. And even if I do end up sculpting all of these, I'm not really gonna show it to you. I'm just gonna do it behind the scene. So that is something because this is super repetitive. I mean, obviously, you're not really gonna learn anything from it. Like I'm just doing the same thing. As you can see, how we have broken up these areas, we can actually broke up, not broken up. We can actually break up these particular parts as well, a little bit more. For example, we have these variation going on. We can have some variation in this particular area. Let's see. But then again, we are going to be carving these eyes and stuff. So that is also something that we're going to be doing. So let's just not do it right now. Let's just focus on breaking up the surface like this. And then we might just create some more breakup for more random things. One of the more important thing is you need to make sure that you look at your object from all angles. Otherwise, you've seen how the shape originally was, and I've used the cube in order to create this, which was obviously a dumb idea. Don't do that. I just wanted to show you how to look at objects from every direction basically to figure out if the volumes are working or not from each and every single direction. Like you can literally script something from the front view, but if you were to change the view, it is just gonna look bad, like super bad. It's not really gonna look that good. So that is something that I want you to remember. And yeah, right now we are just gonna be adding some surface breakup. There isn't really anything special going on right now, just doing the same thing. I can just add something like this to create a whole breakup. I can like add a line like this. And this is basically just me trying to create as much variation as I possibly can, even though it's not accurate to like the reference, but I'm still adding them because they are looking nice. So why not, right? Okay, so this is like the next one, and I'm just gonna keep on doing the same thing. Okay, so I'm not really gonna do more because we are not really seeing them. What I wanna do, I wanna create these sharper lines now. As you can see, we have these sharper lines, which we don't have in our sculpt. So I am gonna be using the inflate in order to get these sharper lines, and I'm just gonna pinch them like this. So this is gonna be creating the same thing. This is gonna create the similar effect. And as you can see, this one is sharpened now. So we basically are just going to do the same thing for all of these. By the way, you can also use pinch. It is totally up to you. In this particular case, I've told you we've already talked about it. I am just gonna use the inflate instead. So yes, I'm just using the inflate. Like inflate does also work, and I'm just showing you multiple ways of doing the same thing. And let's just try pinch in this particular part to see what pinch brush is gonna offer us. So you can see that it is, I think, not doing that good of a job. So I am just gonna be using the inflate instead. I would have used the pinch if it would have worked nicely, but it is not working nicely. So I'm just gonna be using the inflate. Obviously, I need to smooth some of these down because they are like overlapping each other, and I don't really want them to do that. So in order to fix that particular part, I had to smooth it out a little bit, but I think it's still better to just use the inflate. If you can see how the inflate is making these particular things sharper. And again, the reason it is going here is because inflate basically pushes the geometry on the normals. And when two geometry starts to get pushed against each other on the normal, they basically just get closer, and it kind of gives the effect of pinching as well. So that's what the idea is behind using the inflate. Now, after the inflate is done, we are gonna be start doing something. We'll see what we can do after the inflate. So we have this, and it is looking pretty nice actually. I'm not gonna lie. We still have not added these small details, but for the small details, we need to have more polygons. And in order to have more polygons, we have two options. We either need to um, increase the increase the remesh area, like the remesh polygon, like what I'm doing right now. We either need to increase it or we can subdivide it as well. So in this particular case, I am not really going to subdivide it right now because we need to carve these eyes out. So what I'm thinking, I am thinking to carve these eyes out first, or maybe we can actually create this upper area as well. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna do the upper area. And in order to create that, we are gonna do something similar that we have learned. And let's just create a face set for it first. So not with the box actually, but let's just draw one. So this is gonna be the face set. And what I want, I basically wanna extract this particular part out from this area. So let's just do it. I am going to go into the face set, and you can see we have an option to extract face set, and now we're just going to click on this, and render is going to take its time to calculate, and as you can see it have already done calculating. Now we can actually increase the thickness of it. So do something like this and just push it out. So if I were to grab on any Z, then we can just push it out. I'm going to apply it, and then I'm going to go into the sculpt mode, and let's see. I am just going to enable the remesh so that we basically can get some sort of polygons. But as you can see, the smooth is not working. I'm trying to smooth it out and it is not working. So let's see what's the problem. Let's actually see. Okay, now it is working. For some reason, it was not working, but getting out of site mode kind of worked. Maybe it was a bug. I don't know why it was not working. Let's just do a rematch and we have this. So now we need to make something like this, right? I'm not really gonna 100% match it, but let's try to push it inward because from the top it is like getting smaller. So let's just do the same. And we have this. Let's also increase the size and push it on one direction. In my case, I'm just pushing it on the right side. So we basically get this. Let me remesh it again. In this particular case, I would recommend you to have a reference, and I am gonna get a reference as well. But right now, I'm just getting it into a shape. Let's just cut it from this particular area. I think it would be better to do that. So I am gonna go into the, where is it? Box trim. You can use the lasso trim as well, and then just do this. So we have trimmed it, and now we can remeasure it again. You can see we have created a face, right? Automatically. Let's just keep it right now. It's not really that big of a problem. Now we need to add these ins and outs that you can see. So in order to do that, we are going to be using, I guess again, the clay stream brush is going to work fine. So I am, okay, wait, it is not really working as nicely. Let's try the draw brush. Yeah, draw brush is definitely working better. So I am going to be using the draw brush for this purpose. And I am going to be creating this ins and outs that we have. So yeah, you can see that the clay strip didn't work. So now I'm just using the draw brush. And again, situational. If the situation would have allowed us to use the clay strip brush, then I would have just used it. But because the situation is not allowing us to use that, we have to use the draw brush, and it's totally fine. You can use the draw brush to add or remove volumes as well. It is like totally okay. Okay, so we have this now. Again, it is not like the coolest looking sculpt ever, but now we need to fix some of these volumes. And I guess we need to push it down a little bit and push it outwards. Like you can see, it is like coming outwards as well. So what I can do, I can mask this part out like this. Let me increase the strength. Let me just do that. And now I can invert it, and then I can scale it. So right now you can see the pivot point is not at the right place. So I need to go into the object mode and then put the pivot point at by full stop. By the way, you need to press full stop in order to do that. Put the pivot at 3D cursor, and I'm gonna put the 3D cursor here. So now we can actually scale it up like this. So let's see what do we have, and I'm gonna press Alt M to remove the mask, and let's just use the draw brush. I am gonna be smoothing it out first because it was kind of weird. And now you can see that we need to remove some of these volumes. So I'm just gonna do that. And we are basically getting the same thing. We are getting something similar. And this is totally fine. Like it is totally looking good. And we have achieved what we wanted to achieve. We have created this root kind of an effect, which is super nice looking. Obviously, we need to massage it in order to make it look better, but we are getting somewhere, right? So that's pretty nice. Let's just remove this, and yes, cool. So we have this going on, and now we just need to massage it a little bit to put it into the shape and everything in the nice areas. So we have this, and we definitely don't have any references for it. So I think it's better to have reference because in this particular case, you cannot really see anything. So let me just do a cut, and I am gonna come with a reference. Okay, so I guess there is a reason to use a reference, and as you can see, we were not really sculpting it as I thought. I mean, so there is a reason for reference, and as you can see, it is not accurate to what I thought it would be. So we need to first match it with this, and then you can see that from beneath to the top, it is basically the same shape. In our case, if I can show it to you, in our case, the shape is basically just disappearing at the top, which is something that we don't want. Because as you can see, the shape is not disappearing and it is continuing. So yes, this is something that we're gonna have to improve. Also, you can see some of the surface over here. That is something we can also apply in our own pumpkin as well. But we're gonna talk about this later. Let's just focus on the top right now. The first thing that I wanna match is the shape. You can see it is not like weird shape like what we have going on. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try and match this. So for example, you can see this shape. I am gonna try and do that. I'm just going to push it in the back like this, and just going to try and achieve similar shapes basically. So this is like this, and this one is coming back. And yeah, this is just me trying to match what I can see. Nothing really special going on. In this particular area, you can just to match it like this, I guess. And then we need to create one more over there. And this one is gonna go like this. So this is what we have. And let's just do one like this. Okay. So now, yeah. Okay. So we have a nice looking shape. Now let me just push it inside a little bit. We're gonna have to see how exactly this shape sits on top. So you can see that it is basically just a shape that sits on top. So we're gonna be changing that as well. But right now we have this. Let's just put them in the center. So we have something like this going on, and it is looking totally fine. Now we need to create something like this. And as you can see, it is kind of a rounder shape. So we can actually use inflate. Also, I want to increase the resolution. So let me just do that. I have increased the resolution now. So we can just start using the inflate to add these shapes now. So yes, this is what we are going to be doing. And one thing that I can do actually is gonna be easier if I were to do it this way. I can use the lasso mask and I can invert it and I can just grab it and push it up a little bit. And the reason that I'm doing it this way is I can just, it would be easier for me to sculpt the continuation line and then I can just delete it. So I'll just show it to you, don't you worry. Oh, there is one tip that I can give you right now actually. So with the gram, if you were to do something like this, you can see it is not really working that well. And if you want to create a curve like this, for example, we have here, if you want to do something like this, you can change the follow to sharp. And yeah, you can see it's actually much more easier to create a curve like this. So that is something that you can also play around with the grab brush. And yes, that is also one of the ways you can use the follow. So we have this, and now we can actually just use the inflate and do this. So I am gonna increase the straight weather. So we have just going on, and then we have just going on. Then we basically have just going on. So we can, I guess, join or maybe not join. Let's just create a sharper like separation between them. So this is what I am trying to do. Actually, it's not just me looking at a reference. I'm just trying to make a sense out of it. And I'm not really looking at the reference right now. I know what the bigger kind of a shape looks like. So I'm just trying to do the same. Okay, so one of the thing, the shape on the side is itself is also there. So I need to create that. And you can see that there are like similar shapes that are beside each other, and there is like a sharp line in between. So I'm just gonna try and do that. Actually, in this case, we can also use the inflate to push these closer to each other. So let me just first fix this particular part, and now we can use the inflate in between to pinch them together. So that is also something that we can do. Okay, now I wanna lower down the strength on the smooth because I don't really want to remove all the shapes that I've just sculpted. So you can see we have gotten this, and the line is disappearing from this particular area. So let's use the crease brush to re-add this line. And yeah, you can like see how the crease brush basically works. It is adding the sharper line, but it is also kind of not working. Let me remesh it, and then I'm gonna use the inflate to push them closer, like not push them, but make them a little bit closer. And okay, so it is looking nicer in this area, but not in this. I guess we need to fix it again. So Let's just use the trees again, and let's just script this part again. So this is just me doing the repetitive stuff. That's why the commentary is a little bit slow again. Slow now. I'm just keep on saying again. I don't know if it is kind of frustrating to hear again and again. Like I'm just keep on saying this word again. Like I'm gonna try not to say it. So yes. Now we have kind of achieved the same thing. We can make this a little bit thicker in this particular area. So yes, you can see that it is making much more sense now. Now we can actually do something similar in these in other parts as well. Let's actually make a little bit thicker this particular area and also this. The reason is I don't want this to be thicker and thin in individual places. I kind of want this to be similar. Like the thickness needs to be similar at almost each and every single one of these parts. So that's what I'm doing right now. Okay, now we can add the similar thing in this area. Let's add one, or maybe use the draw actually. We can use the draw as well to add a smaller one of these areas in this particular area. So I'm gonna be using the inflate again. So again, the idea was to make it a little bit straighter, which it was not, and I'm gonna rematch it again. The problem with the remesh, it is going to remove the sharpness in between. So I'm not really going to add it right now. I'm going to be fixing the sharpness a little bit later. I kind of want to focus on the bigger shapes right now, not the sharpness or the like finalization. So I am just creating these bigger shapes. And because we're gonna be keep on remeshing it, I think it's actually better to just not fix all the sharpness. I am gonna do all the sharpness in the end, like after I'm done finishing this particular part. So we have this going on, and now we can just start working on this area. Again, similar thing, pretty repetitive. I am gonna be cutting this part like this, by the way, just in case if you wanna know. And that's how I'm not really focusing on clock. Oh yes, that's the reason. Now we can just do something similar like this. Okay, I'm gonna be remeshing it because the polygons were a little bit low and I need to re-add the polygons. So this is basically the workflow. Whenever you are concepting, you need to do this again and again. Yeah, this is actually looking okay. And from the front view, it is also looking nice. So I guess we can just leave it around here. And now we need to create something like this to make it look like that it is like on top of the pumpkin and not going through it. So in order to give that particular seal, we need to use the torch sharp brush and basically remove some of the volumes from beneath. So that's basically what I'm doing right now. And this is gonna give us the feel that this particular part is actually sitting on top. Let me decrease the strength on the draw brush. And I am gonna be adding volume on the border. And this volume is also gonna give us the feel that we have this particular part sitting on top. Now I'm just using the clay strip to basically fill in the gaps that we have. And yes, this is looking pretty nice. You can see that we have a feeling in this particular area that it is sitting on top. So now we need to do the same thing with everything else. And I'm just going to start removing it. As you can see, I have increased the strength. And that's because I don't really want to do multiple strokes in order to remove little bit of area. So that's why I've just increased the strength so that I can just do it fast because it was taking time because I had to do multiple strokes and I don't really wanted to do that. Okay, now I think Yeah, it is working. Let's do this particular part now because this is what we can see from the front view and the camera is going to be front. So yes, if I were to feel like that the camera is not going to be in front, I'm going to do all the other part later, like on my own. So don't to worry about it. Okay, so we have this. Now we can actually start using the inflate and start freezing it. So let me decrease the strength by the way. I think the strength was a bit too much and start pinching them together. Yes, it's just looking pretty nice now. And now we can just cut the top. So we can use the lasso, not the mask, but the lasso trim. And let's just cut it like this. Okay, so we have a cut now, which is pretty nice actually. As you can see, this is pretty clean cut. And we almost have our pumpkin. Actually, we have our pumpkin. If you really want to, you can add some of these details. For example, let's just say this particular area, let's just add it because it is gonna look nicer. So I am gonna add it. Remember, I marked these first, but in this case, I guess I can just, I can just add it right away. So I'm gonna try and add this in this particular area. Also, I need to fix this stuff. So I am gonna do all of this behind the scene, I guess. Wait, I need to select the pumpkin. So let's just select the pumpkin. And now we can continue doing it. So I am gonna try and add this. I guess I can actually mark it first because this is my workflow and I'm gonna just do it like this. I guess I can also increase the wait. Let me instead of increasing the wait, I am thinking like how should I approach it? I can increase the polygon count or I can subdivide it, but I cannot technically subdivide because I need to create eyes and stuff. So I cannot subdivide. And I guess I have to decrease the subdivisions from here. So let's just try 0.006 and do a remesh. It should give us more amount of polygons and it actually have did. So yes, let's try marking it now. I am gonna mark it like this. You can see how it is like going thinner and thinner and then it is going thicker. So we are gonna do the same thing. We are just gonna mark it and make it thinner. As you can see, it is like getting thin and then it is gonna be thicker. So we are just gonna try and do the same thing. And let's just push it towards here. And now we need to add volume in this particular area. So let's try the clay strip because this is like one of my favorite. Obviously, clay strip is not going to give you the roundier results. So maybe with the inflate, we can actually do it. Let me increase the strength. And yes, we can use the inflate. I mean, right now, the commentary that I'm doing right now is kind of weird. But yes, we can actually just focus on sculpting instead of my voice. So this part is going to be a little bit sharp and I have removed a little bit too much volume. So I need to re-add the volumes. And we can use the fill brush actually or the scrap brush with the control to fill up this area. Cool. Okay. So we have kind of sculpted the same thing, right? We just need to flatten this part out. So in order to flatten this part out, I can use the scrap brush. And yeah, you can see how well it is working. I can also use the clay strip brush in the negative to remove some of the volumes. And you can see how nice it is looking. Just use the draw sharp brush to increase the sharpness. And yes, it is actually looking pretty nice. We can add a little bit of volume in this particular area now. So I can just use the inflate. It is actually looking nice. We can move this particular part out to create a little bit better looking transition and then we add the sharp with the lower strength. So this is something that I can do. And yeah, it is actually looking better. Now we can use the inflate to sharpen it again. Nice, nice. So that's how I would add and remove the volumes. Other than that, now we can actually start adding the eyes. So this particular part I am gonna do after, or maybe I'll just do a time lapse. I don't really need to do a commentary on the whole thing. But yes, we can actually start adding the eyes. So in order to do that, I'm just gonna use the symmetry, obviously. Now the easiest way of approaching is to not just start adding the eyes like this. Like you can just start adding the eyes. Wait, let me just increase the strength. For example, this is just an example, right? So you can just start keep on adding the eyes like this, but it is not gonna be the accurate way of doing stuff. And the reason is you cannot like change it. For example, if you wanna change this shape, you cannot just fill this or smooth it out and then change it because this is just not the right way of doing things. So we need to use either the face sets or the mask. It is totally your choice. I am gonna use the face set in this particular situation. So let's just try and do one first. Obviously, we're gonna be using the mirroring, so we don't really have to do both of these. Okay, wait. So this is gonna be kind of weird to use. You just have to keep on holding the control, and with the control being hold, you can just start adding the eyes. So I am gonna do the same, and the eyes doesn't really need to match 100%. So yes, I'm not really gonna be matching these 100% accurately. And you can see how the eyes are going in between. Like if I were to rotate it like this, so you can see that this is not accurate and we need to do some better way of doing things. So I can like do this and that's how the eye is. So this is like the bigger shape. We need to fix the bigger shape first. Let me just fill up this area. And the reason that we are using the face set, I am going to be showing you. Don't you worry. We are just going to be creating the bigger shapes first. Now let's see how exactly the shape of the eye is. I'm going to draw it like this. So this is what we have. And if you were to look at it, it is not really looking as full as we have in this one. And that's because the eyes are much more longer in this particular case. So we need to do the same in ours as well. So I just going to do it. Let's see. Okay, now we need to make the eyes a little bit longer. We don't have enough length, which means that we need to do something like this. You can see that I'm blocking out the bigger shapes first. So that is like super important to do. We need to make these eyes a little bit longer. Okay, so we have these now. And I guess the eyes are actually a bit too much longer now. We can remove it a little bit. Okay, so we have this. Now, I guess we can remove a little bit. I am just gonna control, like hold down the control. Okay, we can lower it down a little bit. So I am just trying to match it with the reference. This is what we have. Cool. I guess we can actually remove it like this. Is it looking okay? What do you think? I mean, right now, I'm just looking at the bigger shapes, not the details. So I guess it's fine. We can start making the teeth now. So for the teeth, obviously, we're gonna do the same thing. Actually, for the teeth, we can use the different face sets like this. There is gonna be a problem. I've just realized because these teeth are separate. We might have to use the mask for the teeth, but let's just do the eyes first. So I'm gonna use the mask for the teeth because teeth are actually separate, and we're gonna be creating different face set every time. So we don't want that to happen. And again, I'm just going to look at the bigger shapes, note the details. So you can see the distance between the teeth and the eyes. So I'm just going to try and achieve the same. And also I'm just going to try and achieve the length of the eyes. Okay. First thing first, what I can do actually, I can let me just draw the teeth over here as well. You can see the bigger shape, right? So I can draw this bigger shape first. Like I can draw it like this, and then it is something around like this. So we need to make sure that the teeth are in between this line, and I'm just gonna try and do that. So I'm just gonna do this. Just gonna do this. Obviously, I'm not matching right now because we don't really have to match it. I'm just doing it on my own at this point because I realized that it's not really worth it to match each and every single one of these shapes. So I'm just like doing it on my own. Okay, so we have these teeth, and okay, now let me just remove the mask from this particular area. We obviously need to refine the teeth after we have removed this particular mask. Okay, so now that I have removed the mask, you can see the teeth we have. So I am just gonna be doing this. Okay, so yes, we have the teeth, and now we need to remove, like, clean some of this stuff. Let's see. So I think the teeth are looking okay. In the end, when we sculpt it, we can define the teeth in that particular time, but it is looking okay. We can now start masking the bottom one. So for the bottom one, we can actually just mark it like this. So you can see from where it is starting, and it is kind of going like this. And the bottom line is gonna be like this. So yes, this is where we are gonna be creating our bottom lips, or not the bottom lips, but the bottom teeth now. And yeah, it seems so. Just gonna start creating the mask for the teeth now. Again, pretty much the same thing that we've done with the dog. And you can see some of the smaller teeth here. So I'm just gonna do the same as well. We are gonna end the variation after we are done with the slides. So don't you worry. Actually, let me remove this and start adding something like this. So okay, now we need to remove this masking line that we had to add. Actually, if you are a nice sculptor or a visualizer, you might not even have to use this hiding line like I did. But yeah, it is totally up to you. Maybe you are a good sculptor. I mean, not right now because you are watching a beginner sculpting course. And okay, I didn't really wanted to diss you, but yes, maybe you'll end up becoming a good sculptor and you might not have to end up using these lines like I'm using. So yes, but I just wanted to show you some of the ways you can approach things like this. Okay, so now we have mask for the teeth. What we can do, we can actually create a face set from this. So face set from mask. And now we have face set for the eyes and face set for the teeth. Um, One of the fun thing that we need to do is we need to delete the face set from the eyes because these are gonna be hollow. And this is gonna be important actually. So I'm just gonna do that. Okay, in order to do that, we need to go into the face set edit and then face set delete geometry. We need to delete this geometry and also just keep on saving because this is something important. Now, the reason we have deleted it is because we are gonna be giving the outer shape to the eye. So yes, we need to now just keep on adding it. And I think that graph is gonna be the best tool of our in order to do that. So I can just now start giving our eyes a little bit of shape. So yes, this is what we are doing. One thing that you can do actually, I have just realized, you can add thickness to it. Actually, let's just do that. Let's just do the thickness first. So I'm gonna be staining it, and then let's add the solidify modifier. So let me just solidify. And Blender is gonna take its time because we are kind of in the higher poly version. So you can see, let's increase the thickness to something similar. Let's open up the reference so you can see the amount of thickness, right? Let's try 0.15, 0.25. Let's see. Let's try 0.3 actually. Okay, I think 0.3 is gonna work. I know this is not looking that good, but it is totally fine. When we'll remesh it, it is gonna be something that we're gonna have to clean up. Whenever you are sculpting, you have to do all these cleanups, so don't worry. If I were to remesh it, I don't think the face set is gonna go, so that's pretty nice. And now we need to do some cleanups. So yes, that is also something that you're gonna have to do whenever you are sculpting. And as you can see, we need to like delete some of this. For example, we need to delete some of these areas. And the best way of doing it is to put them into the face set. So what I'll do, I'll actually just hide this part. And I've shown you that according to the situation, you might have to do that. Now, let's just start creating a face set and start deleting stuff. So for example, we can create a face set in this particular area. And yes, we don't need this part. And now we can actually just delete it. So let me unhide everything. Hold text to unhide. And now we can just go into the face set and delete geometry. Okay, so you can see that we have deleted the geometry. And if I were to mesh now, the Blender is gonna fill this hole. So that is also a workflow. And the Blender didn't really do a good job filling up the holes. So now remember we added a tool called 3D print. We're gonna be using this tool to clean up the geometry and make it manifold. So that's something that we're gonna be using. Okay, so as you can see, we have this manifolded, which means we have just all filled up. And if I were to press Control R again, it is just gonna do this. So I guess instead of deleting, the better way is gonna be to just use the snap brush and snap all this part in. So something like this, I think it's gonna be better way. So I'm just gonna snap all of this stuff like this. Then just go inside, by the way. And yeah, I'm just gonna be smoothing it out with the scrap brush. You can also use the smooth to just smooth out everything. Increase the strength in the smooth, by the way, because we have decreased it and we need it right now. I'm just gonna do the smoothing. As you can see, I'm also smoothing the eye because right now I don't really care about the eyes as much. We can just make them sharper a bit later, but right now the priority is to clean up the surface. The surface is definitely not clean, and we need this surface to be cleaned actually in order to make it work. So the priority is to just clean up the surface, but let's just remesh it again to basically fix up all this stuff. And now we just need to smooth it again and remesh it again, and we have to do this process maybe three or four times, maybe maximum, or maybe we can actually. Let's just see. I think we are done. And yeah, we have the eyes, but it is not clean. Oh wait, we have to do this part also, obviously, because they are not symmetrical. It's not gonna be 100% accurate. So let's do it again on the left side. Oh wait, sorry, on the right side, or on the left side. Let's just smooth it out, and the follow was smooth. I thought that I changed the follow, but I didn't. Cool. Let's just out again. So we have this particular part exploding. We can just push it in and just roll it out. We can do the same thing. So let's just push it in. just push it in and smooth out. So yeah, we have the ice, but it is not clean. So we're gonna have to clean this up. But we definitely have the ice, and let's just also create the teeth, and then we're gonna start cleaning it up, making it sharp, and starts to make it look like nice. And also we need to create nice looking surface as well.